Hey, what's up? How you doing, everyone? It's James Amero here at SwitchWatch, your home for everything Nintendo Switch related. My question to you today: what RPG would you absolutely love to see come to the Nintendo Switch in your wildest dreams? I'm back today with another review, and this one is Lost Sphear. The game has been developed by Tokyo RPG Factory and published by Square Enix. The guys over there gave us this copy for review purposes, so thank you very much. As always, we're going to find out if this one's worth your hard-earned cash. Let's jump in and find out. Lost Sphear is the spiritual successor to Tokyo RPG Factory's first title, I Am Setsuna. And like that game, it draws heavy inspiration from classic JRPGs from the 90s that made Square a household name. Titles like Final Fantasy and, in particular, Chrono Trigger. Like a well-worn record, we are reintroduced to a familiar tale, that of the unlikely chosen hero that can save the world from a dreadful threat. This time, the world is literally getting lost, as places and people are vanishing, leaving behind a white space, a void that, it turns out, only our hero, Kanata, can fix by restoring the memories of a place or person. Kanata is a lovable orphan that is thrust into this crazy tale along with his best friends, and along the way, these children develop into adults, are joined by a wide range of others, and deal with times both humorous and worrying. In a nutshell, this is a story you know well, and depending on your point of view, love or hate. We are given some pleasant moments, and the idea of revealing a lost world through memories is excellent. Humour is delivered mostly through short cutscenes and conversations with NPCs, an area that Lachlan wrote an interesting article on. However, overall the story can feel overtly like a tip of the hat to its inspirations. The result is a somewhat anemic in places. Jumbling together parts of these great games gives this story form, but a lack of memorable identity over its 25 or so hours to complete. The music of Lost Sphear stays true to the feel of the world we are in and its spiritual inspiration. We have the classic jig-ins and melancholic piano-led journeyman music. The score is impressive with a lot of attention to detail. On the other hand, there are no risks here. Everything is comfortable, and I couldn't rack my brain to specifically remember a track that stood out over the others. Maybe the lack of a big boss track hindered that experience. It's hard to pinpoint.
アーティファクト効果に変化が。狙ったものは逃がさない。
Sound effects are pleasant and on the money, from the familiar end of battle loot collection noise to the odd words in Japanese your character makes at time when attacking. Lost Sphear straddles two worlds with its visuals. It has a slightly washed out surreal look to it that is combined with sharp 3D environments to make you feel a bit like you're playing a pop-up story. Its aim is to capture the colours and effects from our nostalgic 90s classics, whilst overhauling them for use on modern TVs and on the portable Switch. In part, this is certainly achieved, and the towns, dungeons, characters and monsters look great. However, on the flip side, it lacks some of the smaller details that we can expect from modern games, and also lacks the artistic cues of hand-drawn games of old. Whilst many people did not like the arty approach to I Am Setsuna, it is clear that its bleak, whitewashed world gave it a strong sense of personality that is lacking this time around. Lost Sphear follows a tried and tested blueprint of turn-based battle and a linear story mixed with exploration and questing. Battles take place on the map you are on itself, rather than loading a different screen, and once there, your characters move around the battleground freely in an active time battle system. You get to select either a basic attack or skill, with each character having a different range of basic attack and individual skills ranging in size, letting you strategically set up devastating rounds against your enemies. Equally important as lining up your attack correctly is not moving your characters all into range of a devilish enemy that could take out your squad in one go. You have a familiar set of stats including agility that determines how quickly your attack bar refills in order to take an action. This movement feels good, and the control system is easily picked up by anyone who has played this type of game before. Your characters are certainly not all equally as strong, with some having much more relevance in battles due to their skill set. Van, for example, can attack many enemies each turn, making him a strong choice each time around. Level progression and the game's curve feel right, and as you progress the game begins to introduce more and more mechanics. Sprint Knight, very similar to Materia, is obtained quite early and enables you to load your characters up with various skills, either as an active, passive, or in combination with charged skills. Each character can equip a predefined set of Sprint Knight, about half a dozen or so, which is a shame as you cannot fully create a squad that is unique, which feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. In addition, you get access to powerful Sprint Knight that can be used to enhance your weapons, but these are rare and very costly, leading me to not use them until near the end of the game, at which point I found I didn't really need them. The game continues to pump out new mechanics at a frightening pace, almost to the end of the story. Volko suits are introduced later as a mech suit that look great and introduce some new dynamics to combat, but also provide some confusion and don't affect a battle as much as you would expect for such an awesome mechanic. Each Volko suit is slightly different and enables your characters to use skills in a slightly more powerful version. Kanata's allows you to perform an awesome combo attack, but the rest of the characters don't have this or a similar unique mechanic, which makes them feel a bit like they were thrown in just because they're cool, and having a shared pool of points to use in order to power them led me to find them an annoyance to maintain, unlike the game which inspired them, Xenogears. Lost Sphear throws in so many mechanics that it's a bit hard to keep up and has the undesired effect of watering them down due to overload. That said, some of these mechanics offer good strategic play, such as momentum, which is charged as you attack enemies and can be triggered by a well-timed press of X whilst attacking to perform an enhanced attack. By combining Sprint Knight with momentum attacks, you can introduce cool combos such as an AoE fire spell that also poisons enemies. Artifacts are another mechanic that are a throwback to Disgaea. These are towers on the world map which can be converted into a number of debuffs or buffs either in a localized region or across the whole world map. They consume a number of lost memories, making the decision of which to deploy an interesting exercise worth exploring. The problem of jamming all of these mechanics into a single game is that none of them are fully realised in the same way they were in the games that inspired them. I get the feeling that if the developer peeled back one or two of these layers, they could have fleshed out the remaining mechanics further to more success. What they have failed to forget in this trip down memory lane is that these things are not new anymore. At the time they felt fresh, and by not introducing any new mechanics, the gameplay feels a bit stale at times. That's not to say there are not fun elements here. Heading out on missions and taking on big bosses feels as good as can be expected, and similarly, levelling up and obtaining top-notch gear feels awesome. It just feels a bit lost at times among the mechanics and well-worn storylines. The game plays perfectly on the move. Here it's right at home as one to pass time with taking on a few missions. One of the in-game things you can do is chat to your team to figure out where you should be heading, and each time I loaded the game up on the move, this feature was useful. Unlike some of the games it draws inspiration from, it feels like a game that you could pick up and carry on with quite easily. Lost Sphear delivers 20 to 30 hours of gameplay for your hard-earned cash due to its length of story. That said, it can be a slog at times, and there is no replayability and very little by way of wanting to 100% the game. Considering this game costs a full $49.99 in the US and $39.99 in the UK, it is a tall ask. Lost Sphear is a game of two sides. On one hand, it takes us on a trip rife with nostalgia that can bring a smile to our face, whilst on the other hand, it crams this nostalgia down our throat without giving us a chance to get deeply into any individual element. During my time in the game, I experienced boredom and frustration with some enjoyment thrown in for good measure. It's a game that borrows from our past, but loses itself a bit in the process. Is it the best JRPG? No, certainly not, but it does deliver glimmers of a great game, and it does give you a good way to pass time. Overall then, a rather average 6 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. If you're here for the first time, we'd love it if you stuck around. Pop a comment down below, like and subscribe. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you and take care, everyone.